Good morning, everyone. Today is April the 23rd, and today is also part 51 of my journey to becoming a voice actor. Um, so, well, before I get into anything, let's get rid of this black void here. Switch it with something you can see. There we go. That looks better. Um, so I know some of you are probably wondering, where's the streams been, Steven? Like, where you been, man? Um, to answer that question truthfully, it started out as a series of events that forced me away from streaming, that I had to deal with. A bunch of stuff came up in life, as it usually does, at very inconvenient times, but dealt with it. It's okay. So I had to deal with that. I did deal with some things, and it just completely threw off my routine. So my goal is this week, I really want to get back into my routine. As for videos being posted, I reposted one of my new Vegas shorts that I did a while back. I'm gonna post the second part today, um, just to see how it does. But, or maybe I'll post that tomorrow. My goal is, I think I want to put something out at least once a week, instead of every single day. Just because I found when I did it where I was posting every single day, the quality wasn't necessarily that great. Um, the quantity was good, but I think I was focusing too much on quantity over quality. So my goal is I want to post probably um twice a week, once or twice a week. I think that's a much more feasible goal. So that way I have a lot more time to prepare videos and space them out. But yeah, that's the plan with that. Because I've been lacking on posting lately. So I want to get back into that. I want to get back into routine because it's important that I keep it up. I have still been practicing, but not as much as I'd like to. So I'm hoping by doing this, I can finally get back into things. So, with that being said, that's pretty much all the announcements I have. Usually I go over announcements at the beginning, but for today, we're going to practice some scripts, some stories for the first couple hours, take a few small breaks in between at the end of each hour. That's usually how it goes. And then last hour, as always, as usual, will be some reading. And that's the plan for today. So let's get to it, shall we? All right. Yeah, so we're going for 8.33. So timer I'll set will be yeah, it'll be until okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. All right. So, first thing that we're going to do. So the most recent thing that I've been working on in the background behind the scenes is Greek mythology, specifically mythological stories, and more specifically, the story of Hercules. I did do all the parts, although I kind of want to record the last 4 labors of Hercules, because I've had a bit of like congestion. I think it's from seasonal allergies though, just because now it's officially spring, and knock on wood, there's not going to be any more bunches of snow. But yeah, there's also a bunch of other stories that I'd like to try. My goal is I want to switch it up and do like something interesting that's like a little longer format. I feel like the mythological stories are a good place to do that. But yeah. So let's give ourselves a quick test here to make sure all is good. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing. Yeah, that's why we test. That is absolutely not the right mic. Huh. Yeah. Okay, let's try again. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing. That's a lot better. Okay. Oh, whoops. Accidentally exited out of that. My bad, guys. My bad. 1 second. Let me just sign in real quick to this. Yep. Uh-huh. Come on. Okay, there we go. That's better. That's a bit better. Okay. Actually, what I could probably do is do that. This here, these are just the pillows for up top for noise reduction. All right, that covers it up pretty well. Part of my head's gonna get chopped off every time I lean against that, but maybe this is better. It's about the same. All right. Anyways. Okay, let's do, you know what? I just thought of something. We're gonna try it. Let's take off the headphones because we don't need them when we're recording. Let's practice a little improvisation. So okay, let's do an improv scene. So we need a location. We're on an so we're on an iceberg. And we're a lifeguard. And we are cleaning the house. And we're always in debt. All right, so this is our improv scene. We are on an iceberg as a lifeguard. We're cleaning up the house, but we're always in debt. All right, I think I got something for that. Yeah, here in the Arctic, it's not easy. I've been living here for about 6 months now, ever since plane crashed, and I've been making do. The locals here, they don't speak great English. They're about quarter the size I am, but they're good swimmers, and yeah, I keep them in check. I like to make sure they're waddling about okay. They don't get into trouble. But yeah, recently I found it's a challenge cleaning up the house. By house I mean my igloo. Um, yeah, I find all kinds of stuff in there, and yeah, as of right now, I'm looking at my expenses, and it's not looking good. Um, the Penguin King has recently come to visit and claim his taxes, and he wasn't happy that I didn't seem to give him exactly what he wanted. I offered him money, but apparently money is no good here, and fish is actually the currency. So, yeah, I might be screwed. I don't know. That's stupid, but something like that just to get the muscles going. That background noise is not ideal, but this is also a good way to test it. I actually am curious how this will sound. Yeah, here in the Arctic, it's not easy. I've been living here for about 6 months now, ever since plane crashed, and I've been making do. Yeah, here in the Arctic, it's not easy. I've been living here for about yeah, yeah, here in the Arctic, it's not easy. It's it's not easy. I've easy. You know, I I've been living here for about 6 months now, ever since plane crashed, and I've been making do. The locals here, they don't speak great English. They're about quarter the size I am, but they're good swimmers. They're about quarter the size I am, but they're good swimmers. And yeah, I keep them in check. I like to make sure they're waddling about okay. They don't get into trouble. But yeah, recently I found it's a challenge cleaning up the house. By house I mean my igloo. Um, by house I mean my igloo. Um, yeah, I find all kinds of stuff in there, and yeah, as of right now, I'm looking at my expenses, and it's not looking good. The Penguin King has recently come to visit and claim his taxes, and The Penguin King. He wasn't happy that I didn't seem to give him exactly what he wanted. I offered him money. But apparently money is no good here. And fish is actually the currency. So, yeah, I might be screwed. All right, well, not great, but we're not going for great with that. We're just going for practice. That's just to get some verbal diarrhea out of the way, pretty much. That's the whole point of that. But, okay, nice. So let's give a listen to this again. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta, its gleam and the acquisition. With a mighty roar, Hercules engaged the giant. Alright, and what do the other parts sound like? The fifth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Augean stables. As Hercules stood before the vast expanse of the Augean stables, he beheld the mountain of filth and dung that had accumulated over countless years. Undaunted, Hercules diverted the coursing rivers with skillful precision, unleashing their mighty torrents to cleanse the stables in a single day, the waters washing away the foul stench and grime. The sixth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Stymphalian birds. In the shadowy depths of Lake Stymphalus, bellowing cries, Hercules faced the savage steeds of Diomedes. Hello, brother. How about this? While you were searching for the box, Zeus had me look for an apple. But this time, brother, I will be the one who will claim the throne for myself. I will become the new god of war. Okay. Just answer something really quick here. All right. Okay, let's try. We'll see if there's a big difference or not. I'm gonna try the last four and see if I notice a difference, because I do feel less congested than I was when I was recording this. So let's give this a shot. Oh man. Ugh. Okay. All right. Hmm. Don't like how that's going up to 45 there. I need to get I need to get like that's the next big thing. I need to get acoustic blankets and hang them up on the walls here. Once I get that, the sound in this room is going to be so much better. It's going to sound way, way better. Just to test this, I just need to make sure. All right, we'll try it. I don't know how good this is going to sound, but we'll try it. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta, its gleaming links a symbol of her sovereignty. Yet, amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle, a tragic misunderstanding ensued, leading to the untimely demise of the noble queen and the acquisition of her prized belt. The 10th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked plains of Erythea, Hercules faced the colossal giant, Geryon, his triple forms a towering testament to his monstrous power. With a mighty roar, Hercules engaged the giant in a titanic struggle, his club crashing down upon Geryon's flesh as he drove the stolen cattle back to King Eurystheus, their lowing voices a chorus of triumph. The 11th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the apples of the Hesperides. Amidst the verdant groves of the Hesperides, Hercules confronted the fearsome dragon, Ladon. Its serpentine coils coiled around the sacred tree that bore the golden apples. With the weight of the heavens upon his shoulders, Hercules enlisted the aid of the Titan Atlas, his weary frame trembling beneath the celestial burden as he plucked the apples from the tree's boughs. The 12th and final labor of Hercules was that of the capture of Cerberus. In the dim recesses of the underworld, Hercules braved the Stygian depths, his heart resolute in the face of death's cold embrace. With the aid of Hermes and Athena, he faced the dread hound Cerberus, its 3 heads snarling and snapping at the fringes of his vision. With unyielding determination, Hercules seized the beast by its iron collar, dragging it back to the land of the living as a testament to his indomitable will. And so, Hercules' feats of strength and bravery became legendary throughout Greece, immortalizing him as one of the greatest heroes of all time. Despite facing countless challenges and enduring unimaginable hardships, Hercules emerged triumphant, proving that even the mightiest of obstacles could be overcome with courage, determination, and the will to atone for one's past mistakes. Alright, I don't know how this is going to sound with the noise, but we'll find out pretty soon. The 9th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta. Its gleaming links, a symbol of her sovereignty. Yet, amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle, a tragic misunderstanding ensued. Leading to the untimely demise of the noble queen and the acquisition of her prized belt. The 10th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked across the sun-baked plains of Erythea. Across the sun-baked plains of Erythea, Hercules faced the colossal giant Geryon. His triple forms a towering testament to his monstrous power. With a mighty roar, Hercules engaged the giant in a titanic struggle. His club crashing down upon Gerion's flesh as he drove the stolen cattle back to King Eurystheus. Their lowing voices, a chorus of triumph. The 11th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the apples of the Hesperides. Of the Hesperides. Amidst the verdant groves of the Hesperides, Hercules confronted the fearsome dragon, Ladon. Its serpentine coils coiled around the sacred tree. Its serpentine coils coiled around the sacred tree that bore the golden apples. With the weight of the heavens upon his shoulders, Hercules enlisted the aid of the Titan Atlas. His weary frame trembling beneath the celestial burden as he plucked the apples from the tree's boughs. The 12th and final labor of Hercules was that of the capture of Cerberus. In the dim recesses of the underworld. Hercules braved the Stygian depths. You know what this got me thinking about, just out of the blue, is the D&D game. I don't know if you guys ever played it. It was, oh god, when did it come out? What was it called? Dark Alliance? Yeah. That was one of the most, like, upsetting games that came out because it had the potential to be good and it flopped. It flopped so hard because it was just a buggy, mess of a game. It is, man, it was really upsetting. Cuz I had fun playing that with friends, but it was a big upset for sure. It was a big upset. His heart resolute in the face of death's cold embrace. Death's cold embrace. With the aid of Hermes and Athena, he faced the dread hound Cerberus. Its three heads snarling and snapping at the fringes. Its three heads snarling and snapping at the fringes of his vision. With unyielding determination, Hercules seized the beast by its iron collar, dragging it back to the land of the living as a testament to his indomitable will. And so, Hercules' feats of strength and bravery became legendary throughout Greece. Immortalizing him as one of the greatest heroes of all time. Despite facing countless challenges and enduring unimaginable hardships, Hercules emerged triumphant, proving that even the mightiest of obstacles could be overcome with courage. I don't know why that courage sounds so off. Determination and the will to atone for one's past mistakes. The ninth of Hercules' 12. So far, I think the other version I recorded sounds better, or sounds best. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta, its gleaming links a symbol of her sovereignty. Yet, amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle, a tragic misunderstanding ensued, leading to the untimely demise of the noble queen and the acquisition of her prized belt. The 10th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked plains of Erythea, Hercules faced the colossal giant, Geryon, his triple forms a towering testament to his monstrous power. With a mighty roar, Hercules engaged the giant in a titanic struggle, his club crashing down upon Geryon's flesh as he drove the stolen cattle back to King Eurystheus. Their lowing voices a chorus of triumph. The 11th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the apples of the Hesperides. Amidst the verdant groves of the Hesperides, Hercules confronted the fearsome dragon, Ladon. Its serpentine coils coiled around the sacred tree that bore the golden apples. With the weight of the heavens upon his shoulders, Hercules enlisted the aid of the Titan Atlas, his weary frame trembling beneath the celestial burden as he plucked the apples from the tree's boughs. The 12th and final labor of Hercules was that of the capture of Cerberus. In the dim recesses of the underworld, Hercules braved the Stygian depths, his heart resolute in the face of death's cold embrace. With the aid of Hermes and Athena, he faced the dread hound Cerberus, its 3 heads snarling and snapping at the fringes of his vision. With unyielding determination, Hercules seized the beast by its iron collar, dragging it back to the land of the living as a testament to his indomitable will. And so, Hercules' feats of strength and bravery became legendary throughout Greece, immortalizing him as one of the greatest heroes of all time. Despite facing countless challenges and enduring unimaginable hardships, Hercules emerged triumphant, proving that even the mightiest of obstacles could be overcome with courage, determination, and the will to atone for one's past mistakes. Okay, not bad. Not bad. I don't know if it's as good as the other take that I did, to be quite honest. The 9th of Hercules of Erythea, burden, as a testament to his. Whoa, hold on. Determination. Hercules seized the death's cold embrace. And so, Hercules' feats of strength and bravery became legendary throughout Greece, immortalizing him as one of the greatest heroes of all time. Despite he faced the dreadhound Cerberus, its 3 heads snarling and snapping at the fringes of his vision. With unyielding determination, Hercules seized the beast by its iron collar, dragging it back to the land of the living as a testament to his indomitable will. Yeah, the indomitable will. Yeah. That's not great. Something to come back to, I suppose. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, just got a little caught distracted. Okay. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Alright, I'm gonna try it a slightly different way. Just give me one quick sec. Sorry, spacing out again. That happens. Okay. We'll try this out really quick, and then I think once we get to the 11:40, which is the 1 hour mark, yeah, we'll take a break. Okay. I just want to try a slightly different way of doing this. Let's see how it sounds. The ninth layer of Hercules' 12. What? The ninth layer? No, that is not it. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta, its gleaming links a symbol of her sovereignty. Yet, amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle, a tragic misunderstanding ensued, leading to the untimely demise of the noble queen and the acquisition of her prized belt. The 10th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked plains of Erythea, Hercules faced the colossal giant Geryon, his triple forms a towering testament to his monstrous power. With a mighty roar, Hercules engaged the giant in a titanic struggle, his club crashing down upon Geryon's flesh as he drove the stolen cattle back to King Eurystheus, their lowing voices a chorus of triumph. The 11th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the apples of the Hesperides. Amidst the 11th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the apples of the Hesperides. Amidst the verdant groves of the Hesperides, Hercules confronted the fearsome dragon, Ladon. Its serpentine coils coiled around the sacred tree that bore the golden apples. With the weight of the heavens upon his shoulders, Hercules enlisted the aid of the Titan Atlas, his weary frame trembling beneath the celestial burden as he plucked the apples from the tree's boughs. The 12th and final labor of Hercules was that of the capture of Cerberus. In the dim recesses of the underworld, Hercules braved the Stygian depths, his heart resolute in the face of death's cold embrace. With the aid of Hermes and Athena, he faced the dread hound Cerberus, its 3 heads snarling and snapping at the fringes of his vision. With unyielding determination, Hercules seized the beast by its iron collar, dragging it back to the land of the living as a testament to his indomitable will. And so, Hercules' feats of strength and bravery became legendary throughout Greece, immortalizing him as one of the greatest heroes of all time. Despite facing countless challenges and enduring unimaginable hardships, Hercules emerged triumphant, proving that even the mightiest of obstacles could be overcome with courage, determination, and the will to atone for one's past mistakes. All right. All right, let's see how this one sounds, this version. The ninth The ninth layer of Hercules is 12. Yeah, the ninth layer of Hercules is 12. What? Psh, the ninth layer? No, that is not it. The ninth of Hercules. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta. He sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta. Its gleaming links. A symbol of her sovereignty. Yet
Amid the clash of
Why did it come out like that?
amid the clash of
Yeah, that was weird. Clash. It should be clash, not clash. Oh god. Maybe I can reduce that.
the clash the clash of amid the
Ugh, that sounds pretty bad.
the clash amid the clash of bronze and the cry amid the clash of bronze
Okay, that's a little bit better. We fixed it a little bit.
amid the clash of the clash of amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle
Okay, I actually fixed it. Wow.
and the cries of battle. A tragic misunderstanding ensued. A tragic misunderstanding ensued. Leading to the untimely demise of the noble queen and the acquisition of her prized belt. The 10th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked plains of Erythea, Hercules faced the colossal giant Geryon. His triple forms, a towering testament to his monstrous power. With a mighty roar, Hercules engaged the giant in a titanic struggle. His club crashing down upon Geryon's flesh as he drove the stolen cattle back to King Eurystheus. Their lowing voices, a chorus of triumph. The 11th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the apples of the Hesperides. Amidst the 11th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the apples of the Hesperides. Amidst the verdant groves of the Hesperides, Hercules confronted the fearsome dragon, Ladon. Its serpentine coils coiled around the
Ooh.
coiled around coiled around
No, that part is just... That's not usable.
Coiled around the sacred tree
That's unfortunate.
that bore the golden apples.
I need to Back up a little bit from the mic.
The golden apples. With the weight of the heavens upon his shoulders, Hercules enlisted the aid of the Titan Atlas. His weary frame trembling beneath the celestial burden as he plucked the apples from the tree's boughs.
Yeah, so I was a little too close to the mic, so it peaks a lot more, but it's okay. Next time I'll be like this distance, bit further away.
The 12th and final labor of Hercules was that of the capture
Of Cerberus.
of Cerberus. Of Cerberus. Of Cerberus. In the dim recesses of the underworld, Hercules braved the Stygian depth. Hercules braved the Stygian depths. The Stygian depths. His heart, resolute in the face of death's cold embrace. With the aid of Hermes and Athena, he faced the dread hound Cerberus. Its three heads snarling and snapping at the fringes of his vision. With unyielding determination, Hercules seized the beast by its iron collar, dragging it back to the land of the living, as a testament to his indomitable will. And so, Hercules' feats of strength and bravery became legendary throughout Greece, immortalizing him as one of the greatest heroes of all time.
Despite facing countless challenges and enduring unimaginable hardships, Hercules emerged triumphant, proving that even the mightiest of obstacles could be overcome with courage, determination, and the will to atone for one's past mistakes. All right, let's listen to it from the top. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta, its gleaming links a symbol of her sovereignty. Yet, amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle, a tragic misunderstanding ensued, leading to the untimely demise of the noble queen and the acquisition of her prized belt. The 10th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked plains of Erythea, Hercules faced the colossal giant Geryon, his triple forms a towering testament to his monstrous power. With a mighty roar, Hercules engaged the giant in a titanic struggle, his club crashing down upon Geryon's flesh as he drove the stolen cattle back to King Eurystheus, their lowing voices a chorus of triumph. The 11th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the apples of the Hesperides. Amidst the verdant groves of the Hesperides, Hercules confronted the fearsome dragon, Ladon. Its serpentine coils coiled around the sacred tree that bore the golden apples. With the weight of the heavens upon his shoulders, Hercules enlisted the aid of the Titan Atlas, his weary frame trembling beneath the celestial burden as he plucked the apples from the tree's boughs.
Too close to the microphone.
The 12th and final labor of Hercules was that of the capture of Cerberus. In the dim recesses of the underworld, Hercules braved the Stygian depths, his heart resolute in the face of death's cold embrace. With the aid of Hermes and Athena, he faced the dread hound Cerberus, its 3 heads snarling and snapping at the fringes of his vision. With unyielding determination, Hercules seized the beast by its iron collar, dragging it back to the land of the living as a testament to his indomitable will. And so, Hercules' feats of strength and bravery became legendary throughout Greece, immortalizing him as one of the greatest heroes of all time. Despite facing countless challenges and enduring unimaginable hardships, Hercules emerged triumphant, proving that even the mightiest of obstacles could be overcome with courage, determination,
and the will to atone for one's past mistakes.
All right. Well, we've actually gone just over an hour, so we're going to take 10, and then we'll do a little bit more, and then take another 5 or 10 after that, and then we'll do an hour of reading at the end. So I'll see you guys in about 10. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. So, I think what we'll do is for the next 20 minutes or so, we'll look at some stuff, maybe do a little bit more practice. Mm. We'll export this as like a practice thing. So just say it's like um extra practice. All right. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I don't know why it's so freaking high there. That's weird. Okay. Sorry about that. Just have to re-energize myself. All right. So we've been we practice video game characters, we practice narration. Let's practice just casual conversation, right? Or maybe a conversation with a character, like a villain. He's like taking a sip of his drink. He's like, "Please come in." 90% of the time when it comes to these things is about troubleshooting. Which is what we're doing. We're just figuring this out. All right. Let's try this again. Nah, doesn't make a difference. Thought I'd try that. All right. Okay, let's just go. Come in, please. Have a seat. Oh, this tea is simply delightful. Would you care to have some? Well, I figured I'd offer just in case. Tell me something. Why bother? Why go to all this trouble just to find one silly little orb? I mean, think about it, really. What do you think will happen once you find it? I'll really have to compliment whoever made that tea for me. What do you think will happen when you find the orb and you realize it's not all you thought it was? Oh, well. Not even someone as powerful as I knows exactly what it does. It's been kept locked away for centuries. And though I have tried many times to recover it myself, unfortunately, there are parameters set to keep people like us, like me, away from it. Clever little rascals, whoever came up with that system. I'll give them credit. They were smart. But not smart enough. For you see, I have found a way in. A way in after what has been 10 centuries of waiting. After everyone that I had ever consulted with told me it would be impossible. Except one. One who believed me. And I gave... Ugh. Come in, please. Have a seat. Oh, this tea is simply delightful. Would you care to have some? Hmm. Well, I figured I'd offer just in case. Tell me something. Why bother? Why go to all this trouble just to find one silly little orb? Hmm? I mean, think about it, really. What do you think will happen once you find it? Mm-hmm. I'll really have to compliment whoever made that tea for me. What do you think will happen when you find the orb and you realize it's not all you thought it was? Okay. The distance is a little too far, so a little closer. Hmm. Please, come in. My apologies. Oh, where are my manners? It has been a while, hasn't it, my friends? Tell me, how goes the search for your precious little orb of oblivion? Have you learned anything new? Have you found out what it truly costs? Oh, you still have no idea, do you? You haven't the faintest clue. You think you know, because of that little birdie that chatted up a storm before he departed in that pathetic display of defiance against, frankly, gods that I do not wish to deal with. And yet here you are, standing before me in one piece. I've seen you've all grown, far more powerful than when I first met you. But as you know, power always comes at a cost. So, why don't we start with what you have done? What have you found out? Tell me. What's that? You don't wish to tell? Oh, don't be cross with me now. We're all friends here, aren't we? There is no need for any of these unnecessary threats. Sorry guys, just gotta check something real quick here. Make sure this is sorted out. I may have forgotten to communicate something. Whoops. That's okay. Oh god. Okay. Yikes. Ugh. Yeah, I won't be able to until like okay. What time is it? What time is it? Okay, I think it's time for reading time. I know I said second break, but I took a one break that was pretty much both breaks combined into. So for the next hour, we're going to do some reading. Ugh. Big stretch. All right, but first, I just want to really quickly see how that sounded with me closer to the mic. Excuse me. And then after the reading, I'm going for a run today, as long as the weather holds up. Oh, wow, what the? Really? Holy shit. It's 17 degrees right now. Whoa. And then it's cold tomorrow. And then the weekend's gonna be really warm, apparently. Alright. Well, perfect time to go for a run then. Okay, let's see how this sounds. Whoops.
Please, come in. My apologies. Oh, where are my manners? It has been a while, hasn't it, my friends?
That sounds better.
Tell me, how goes the search for your precious little orb of oblivion, Have you learned anything new? Have you found out what it truly costs? Oh, you still have no idea, do you? You haven't the faintest clue. You think you know, because of that little birdie that chatted up a storm before he departed in that pathetic display of defiance against, frankly, gods that I do not wish to deal with. And yet here you are, standing before me in one piece. I've seen you've all grown, far more powerful than when I first met you. But as you know, power always comes at a cost. So, why don't we start with what you have done? What have you found out? Tell me. What's that? You don't wish to tell? Oh, don't be cross with me now. We're all friends here, aren't we? There is no need for any of these unnecessary threats.
All right. That's enough of that. Let's actually get to the reading, shall we? I have not read from this book since last stream, which was a while ago. All right. Let's start from where the very last thing we read. That's a coherent sentence. um let's start from where we last left off. That's a bit better. Okay. Let's let's give that another try. Okay, let's get some nice nature music going. All right. Ba-ba-ba. All right. Let us continue from where we last left off, shall we? So we are continuing our book. We've been reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, with a new translation by Gregory Hayes. 55. Don't pay attention to other people's minds. Look straight ahead, where nature is leading you. Nature in general. Through the things that happen to you and your own nature, through your own actions. Everything has to do what it was made for. And other things were made for those with logos. In this respect, as in others, lower things exist for the sake of higher ones, and higher things for one another. Now the main thing we were made for is to work with others. Secondly, to resist our body's urges, because things driven by logos, by thought, have the capacity for detachment, to resist impulses and sensations, both of which are merely corporeal. Thought seeks to be their master, not their subject. And so it should. They were created for its use. And the third thing is to avoid rashness and credulity. The mind that grasps this and steers straight ahead should be able to hold its own. 56. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. 57. To love only what happens, what was destined, no greater harmony. 58. In all that happens, keep before your eyes those who experienced it before you, and felt shock and outrage and resentment at it. And now where are they? Nowhere. Is that what you want to be like? Instead of avoiding all these distracting assaults, leaving the alarms and flight to others, and concentrating on what you can do with it all. Because you can use it. Treat it as raw material. Just pay attention and resolve to live up to your own expectations in everything. And when faced with a choice, remember, our business is with things that really matter. 59. Dig deep. The water, goodness, is down there. And as long as you keep digging, it will keep bubbling up. 60. What the body needs is stability. To be impervious to jolts in all it is and does. The cohesiveness and beauty that intelligence lends to the face, that's what the body needs. But it should come without effort. 61. Not a dancer, but a wrestler, waiting, poised and dug in, for sudden assaults. Look at who they really are. The people whose approval you long for, and what their minds are really like. Then you won't blame the ones who make mistakes they can't help, and you won't feel a need for their approval. You will have seen the sources of both, their judgments and their actions. 63. Against our will, our souls are cut off from truth. Truth, yes, and justice, self-control, kindness. Important to keep this in mind. It will make you more patient with other people. "64. For times when you feel pain, see that it doesn't disgrace you or degrade your intelligence, doesn't keep it from acting rationally or unselfishly. And in most cases, what Epicurus said should help, that pain is neither unbearable nor unending, as long as you keep in mind its limits and don't magnify them in your imagination." That is very wise, Epicurus. And keep in mind, too, that pain often comes in disguise as drowsiness, fever, loss of appetite. When you're bothered by things like that, remind yourself, I'm giving in to pain. 65. Take care that you don't treat inhumanity as it treats human beings. 66. How do we know? How do we know that Telauges, Teleuges. How do we know? 66. How do we know that Teleuges wasn't a better man than Socrates? It's not enough to ask whether Socrates' death was nobler, whether he debated with the sophists more adeptly, whether he showed greater endurance by spending the night out in the cold, and when he was ordered to arrest the man from Salamis, decided it was preferable to refuse, and swaggered about the streets, which one could reasonably doubt. What matters is what kind of soul he had. Whether he was satisfied to treat men with justice and the gods with reverence, and didn't lose his temper unpredictably at evil done by others, didn't make himself the slave of other people's ignorance, didn't treat anything that nature did as abnormal, or put up with it as an unbearable imposition, didn't put his mind in his body's keeping. 67. Nature did not blend things so inextricably that you can't draw your own boundaries, place your own well-being in your own hands. Excuse me. It's quite possible to be a good man without anyone realizing it. Remember that. And this, too. You don't need much to live happily. And just because you've abandoned your hopes of becoming a great thinker or scientist, don't give up on attaining freedom, achieving humility, serving others, obeying God. 68. To live life in peace, immune to all compulsion. Let them scream whatever they want. Let animals dismember this soft flesh that covers you. How would any of that stop you from keeping your mind calm, reliably sizing up what's around you, and ready to make good use of whatever happens? So that judgment can look the event in the eye and say, "This is what you really are," regardless of what you may look like. While adaptability adds, "You're just what I was looking for." Because to me, the present is a chance for the exercise of rational virtue, civic virtue, in short, the art that men share with gods. Both treat whatever happens as wholly natural, not novel or hard to deal with, but familiar and easily handled. 69. Perfection of character. To live your last day, every day, without frenzy or sloth or pretense. 70. The gods live forever, and yet they don't seem annoyed of having to put up with human beings and their behavior throughout eternity. And not only put up with, but actively care for them. And you, on the verge of death, you still refuse to care for them, although you're one of them yourself. 71. It's silly to try to escape other people's faults. They are inescapable. Just try to escape your own. 72. Whenever the force that makes us rational and social encounters something that is neither, then it can reasonably regard it as inferior. 73. You've given aid, and they've received it, and yet, like an idiot, you keep holding out for more, to be credited with a good deed, to be repaid in kind. Why? 74. No one objects to what is useful to him. To be of use to others is natural. Then don't object to what is useful to you, being of use. 75. Nature willed the creation of the world. Either all that exists follows logically, or even those things to which the world's intelligence most directs its will are completely random, a source of serenity in more situations than one. And that is the end of Book 7. We are now moving on to Book 8. 1. This is the beginning of Book 8. Oh. Wait, I just need to double check that that's right. Oh, I can't share that actually. Hold on. I'm pretty sure I've got this Sunday off. I really hope so. Let's see. Yep, I do. Oh, thank God. Let's go. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, we're good. I'll also open up the YouTube chat just in case anybody is watching and has any questions or comments.
Yep, I do. Oh, thank God. Let's go. Okay. Oh.
Oh, we do have somebody watching. Yeah, I'll just turn this down. Good thing I checked. Welcome to whoever's watching the stream. I hope you enjoy the next little bit of reading. Got about 37 minutes left. So this is the beginning of Book 8. 1. Another encouragement to humility. You can't claim to have lived your life as a philosopher, not even your whole adulthood. You can see for yourself how far you are from philosophy, and so can many others. You're tainted. It's not so easy now to have a reputation as a philosopher, and your position is an obstacle as well. So you know how things stand. Now forget what they think of you. Be satisfied if you can live the rest of your life, however short, as your nature demands. Focus on that, and don't let anything distract you. You've wandered all over, and finally realized that you never found what you were after. How to live. Not in syllogisms, not in money, or fame, or self-indulgence. Nowhere. Then where is it to be found? In doing what human nature requires. How? Through first principles, which should govern your intentions and your actions. What principles? Those to do with good and evil. That nothing is good except what leads to fairness, and self-control, and courage, and free will. And nothing bad except what does the opposite. 2. For every action, ask, how does it affect me? Could I change my mind about it? But soon I'll be dead, and the slate's empty. So this is the only question. Is it the action of a responsible being, part of society, and subject to the same decrees as God? 3. Alexander and Caesar and Pompey, compared with Diogenes, Heraclitus, Socrates. The philosophers knew the what, the why, the how. Their minds were their own. The others, nothing but anxiety and enslavement. 4. You can hold your breath until you turn blue, but they'll still go on doing it. 5. The first step. Don't be anxious. Nature controls it all. And before long, you'll be no one. Nowhere. Like Hadrian. Like Augustus. The second step. Concentrate on what you have to do. Fix your eyes on it. Remind yourself that your task is to be a good human being. Remind yourself what nature demands of people. Then do it, without hesitation, and speak the truth as you see it. But with kindness, with humility, without hypocrisy. 6. Nature's job. To shift things elsewhere, to transform them, to pick them up and move them here and there. Constant alteration. But not to worry. There's nothing new here. Everything is familiar. Even the proportions are unchanged. 7. Nature of any kind thrives on forward progress, and progress, for a rational mind, means not accepting falsehood or uncertainty in its perceptions, making unselfish actions its only aim. Seeking and shunning only the things it has control over, embracing what nature demands of it, the nature in which it participates, as the leaf's nature does in the trees, except that the nature shared by the leaf is without consciousness or reason, and subject to impediments, whereas that shared by human beings is without impediments, and rational, and just, since it allots to each and everything an equal and proportionate share of time, being, purpose, action, chance. Examine it closely, not whether they're identical point by point, but in the aggregate, this weighed against that. Excuse me. Number 8. No time for reading. For controlling your arrogance, yes. For overcoming pain and pleasure, yes. For outgrowing ambition, yes. For not feeling anger at stupid and unpleasant people, even for caring about them. For that, yes. Number 9. Don't be overheard complaining about life at court, not even to yourself. (10) Remorse is annoyance at yourself for having passed up something that's to your benefit. But if it's to your benefit, it must be good, something a truly good person would be concerned about. But no truly good person would feel remorse at passing up pleasure. So it cannot be to your benefit or good. (11) What is this fundamentally? What is its nature and substance, its reason for being? What is it doing in the world? Steve Meister, how you doing? Hey, man. I'm good, bro. How about you? You just finished up with uni, eh? Yeah, I'm trying to get back into a consistent stream schedule. Been a while, had a bunch of shit come up, but now I'm ready to get back into things. Hopefully on a consistent basis. Just doing a bit of reading, some Marcus Aurelius' meditations. Oh, how much time do we have? "28 minutes. Cool. Yeah, I can imagine now that you're done with school. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you caught the stream too, man. That's great. All right, well, let's continue with Marcus Aurelius' meditations. Maybe there's a quote you'll like that you can write down. All right. Number 11. What is this fundamentally? What is its nature and substance? Its reason for being? What is its doing in the world? How long is it here for? Number 12. When you have trouble getting out of bed in the morning, remember that your defining characteristic, what defines a human being, is to work with others. Even animals know how to sleep. And it's the characteristic activity that's the more natural one, more innate, and more satisfying. 13. Apply them constantly to everything that happens. Physics, ethics, logic. 14. When you have to deal with someone, ask yourself, what does he mean by good and bad? If he thinks X or Y about pleasure and pain, and what produces them, about fame and disgrace, about death and life, then it shouldn't shock or surprise you when he does X or Y. In fact, I'll remind myself that he has no real choice. 15. Remember, you shouldn't be surprised that a fig tree produces figs, nor the world what it produces. A good doctor isn't surprised when his patients have fevers, or a helmsman when the wind blows against him. 16. Remember that to change your mind and to accept correction are free acts too. The action is yours, based on your own will, your own decision, and your own mind. 17. If it's in your control, why do you do it? If it's in someone else's, then who are you blaming? Atoms? The gods? Stupid either way. Blame no one. Set people straight if you can. If not, just repair the damage. And suppose you can't do that either. Then where does blaming people get you? No pointless actions. 18. What dies doesn't vanish. It stays here in the world, transformed, dissolved, as parts of the world and of you, which are transformed in turn, without grumbling. 19. Everything is here for a purpose. From horses to vine shoots, what's surprising about that? Even the sun will tell you, I have a purpose, and the other gods as well. And why were you born? For pleasure? See if that answer will stand up to questioning. 20. Nature is like someone throwing a ball in the air, gauging its rise and arc, and where it will fall. And what does the ball gain as it flies upward, or lose when it plummets to earth? What does the bubble gain from its existence, or lose by bursting? And the same for a candle. 21. Turn it inside out. What is it like? What is it like old, or sick, or selling itself on the streets? They all die soon, praiser and praised, rememberer and remembered. Remembered in these parts or in a corner of them. Even there they don't all agree with each other, or even with themselves. And the whole earth, a mere point in space. 22. Stick to what's in front of you. Idea, action, utterance. 22a. This is what you deserve. You could be good today, but instead, you choose tomorrow. 23. What I do, I attribute it to human beneficence. What is done for me, I accept it and attribute it to the gods, and that source from which all things together flow. Like the baths, oil, sweat, dirt, grayish water, all of it disgusting, the whole of life, all of the visible world. Verus, leaving Lucilla behind, then Lucilla, Maximus leaving Secunda, and Secunda Diotimus leaving Epitincanus, then Epiticanus Faustina leaving Antoninus, then Antoninus. So with all of them. Hadrian leaving Celer, and Celer. Where have they gone? The brilliant, the insightful ones, the proud. Brilliant as Charax and Demetrius, the Platonist, and Eudemon, and the rest of them. Short-lived creatures, long dead. Some of them not remembered at all. Some become legends. Some lost even to legend. So remember, your components will be scattered too, the life within you quenched, or marching orders and another posting. 26. Joy for humans lies in human actions. Excuse me. Joy for humans lies in human actions. Human actions. Kindness to others. Contempt for the senses. The interrogation of appearances. Observation of nature and of events in nature. 27. 3 relationships. I, with the body you inhabit. 2. With the divine, the cause of everything and all things. 3. With the people around you. 28. Either pain affects the body, which is the body's problem, or it affects the soul. But the soul can choose not to be affected, preserving its own serenity, its own tranquility. All our decisions, urges, desires, aversions lie within. No evil can touch them. 29. To erase false perceptions, tell yourself, I have it in me to keep my soul from evil, lust, and all confusion, to see things as they are and treat them as they deserve. Don't overlook this innate ability. 30. To speak to the Senate or anyone in the right tone, without being overbearing, to choose the right words. 31. Augustus's court, his wife, his daughter, his grandsons, his stepsons, his sister, Agrippa, the relatives, servants, friends, Arius, Maecenas, the doctors, the sacrificial priests, the whole court, dead. And consider the others, not just the deaths of individuals, like the family of the Pompeys. That line they wrote on tomes. Last surviving descendant on tombs, sorry. That line they wrote on tombs. Last surviving descendant. Consider their ancestors' anxiety that there be a successor, but someone has to be the last. There too, the death of a whole house. 32. You have to assemble your life yourself, action by action, and be satisfied if each one achieves its goal as far as it can. No one can keep that from happening. But there are external obstacles. Not to behaving with justice, self-control, and good sense. Well, but perhaps to some more concrete action. But if you accept the obstacle and work with what you're given, an alternative will present itself. Another piece of what you're trying to assemble, action by action. 33. To accept it without arrogance, to let it go with indifference. 34. Have you ever seen a severed hand or foot, or a decapitated head, just lying somewhere far away from the body it belonged to? That's what we do to ourselves, or try to, when we rebel against what happens to us, when we segregate ourselves, or when we do something selfish. You have torn yourself away from unity, your natural state, one you were born to share in. Now you've cut yourself off from it, but you have one advantage here. You can reattach yourself. A privilege God has granted to no other part of no other whole. To be separated, cut away, and reunited. But look how he singled us out. He's allowed us not to be broken off in the first place. And when we are, he's allowed us to return, to graft ourselves back on, and take up our old position once again, part of a whole. 35. We have various abilities, present in all rational creatures as in the nature of rationality itself, and this is one of them. Just as nature takes every obstacle, every impediment, and works around it, turns it to its purposes, incorporates it into itself, so too a rational being can turn each setback into raw material and use it to achieve its goal. 36. Don't let your imagination be crushed by life as a whole. Don't try to picture everything bad that could possibly happen. Stick with the situation at hand and ask, why is this so unbearable? Why can't I endure it? You'll be embarrassed to answer. Then remind yourself that past and future have no power over you, only the present, and even that can be minimized. Just mark off its limits, and if your mind tries to claim that it can't hold out against that, well, then heap shame upon it. 37. Are Panthea or Pergamos still keeping watch at the tomb of Verus? Chabrias or Diotimus at the tomb of Hadrian? Of course they aren't. Would the emperors know it if they were? And even if they knew, would it please them? And even if it did, would the mourners live forever? Were they too not fated to grow old then die, and then die? And when that happened, what would the emperors do? 38. The stench of decay, rotting meat in a bag. Look at it clearly, if you can. 39. To the best of my judgment, when I look at the human character, I see no virtue placed there to counter justice, but I see one to counter pleasure, self-control. Stop perceiving the pain you imagine, and you'll remain completely unaffected. You're Logos. But I'm not just Logos. Fine. Just don't let the Logos be injured. If anything else is, let it decide that for itself. 41. For animate beings, harmful is whatever obstructs the operation of their senses, or the fulfillment of what they intend. Similar obstructions constitute harm to plants. So too for rational creatures. Anything that obstructs the operation of the mind is harmful. Apply this to yourself. Do pain and pleasure have their hooks in you? Let the senses deal with it. Are there obstacles to your action? If you fail to reckon with the possibility, then that would harm you as a rational being. But if you use common sense, you haven't been harmed or even obstructed. No one can obstruct the operations of the mind. Nothing can get at them. Not fire or steel, not tyrants, not abuse. Nothing. As long as it's a sphere in perfect stillness. 42. I have no right to do myself an injury. Have I ever injured anyone else if I could avoid it? 43. People find pleasure in different ways. I find it in keeping my mind clear, in not turning away from people or the things that happen to them, in accepting and welcoming everything I see, in treating each thing as it deserves. 44. Give yourself a gift, the present moment. People out for posthumous fame forget that the generations to come will be the same annoying people they know now, and just as mortal. What does it matter to you if they say X about you or think Y? 45. Lift me up and hurl me, wherever you will. My spirit will be gracious to me there, gracious and satisfied, as long as its existence and actions match its nature. Is there any reason why my soul should suffer and be degraded, miserable, tense, huddled, frightened? How could there be? 46. What humans experience is part of human experience. The experience of the ox is part of the experience of oxen, as the vines is of the vine, and the stones what is proper to stones. Nothing that can happen is unusual or unnatural, and there's no sense in complaining. Nature does not make us endure the unendurable. 47. External things are not the problem. It's your assessment of them, which you can erase right now. If the problem is something in your own character, who's stopping you from setting your mind straight? And if it's that you're not doing something you think you should be, why not just do it? But there are insuperable obstacles. Then it's not a problem. The cause of your inaction lies outside you. But how can I go on living with that undone? Then depart, with a good conscience, as if you'd done it, embracing the other obstacles too. "48. Remember that when it withdraws into itself and finds contentment there, the mind is invulnerable. It does nothing against its will, even if its resistance is irrational. And if its judgment is deliberate and grounded in logic, the mind without passions is a fortress. No place is more secure. Once we take refuge there, we are safe forever. Not to see this is ignorance. To see it and not seek safety means misery. 49. Nothing but what you get from first impressions. That someone has insulted you, for instance. That, but not that it's done you any harm. The fact that my son is sick, that I can see. The fact that my son is sick, that I can see. But that he might die of it, no. Stick with first impressions. Don't extrapolate, and nothing can happen to you. Or extrapolate from a knowledge of all that can happen in the world. 50. The cucumber is bitter? Then throw it out. There are brambles in the path? Then go around them. That's all you need to know. Nothing more. Don't demand to know why such things exist. Anyone who understands the world will laugh at you, just as a carpenter would if you seemed shocked at finding sawdust in his workshop, or a shoemaker at scraps of leather left over from work. Of course, they have a place to dispose of these. Nature has no door to sweep things out of. But the wonderful thing about its workmanship is how, faced with that limitation, it takes everything within it that seems broken, old, and useless, transforms it into itself, and makes new things from it, so that it doesn't need material from any outside source, or anywhere to dispose of what's left over. It relies on itself for all it needs: space, material, and labor. "51. No carelessness in your actions, no confusion in your words, no imprecision in your thoughts, no retreating into your own soul, or trying to escape it, no overactivity. They kill you, cut you with knives, shower you with curses, and that somehow cuts your mind off from clearness and sanity and self-control and justice. A man standing by a spring of clear, sweet water and cursing it, while the fresh water keeps on bubbling up. He can shovel mud into it, or dung, and the stream will carry it away, wash itself clean, remain unstained. To have that, not a cistern, but a perpetual spring. How? By working to win your freedom, hour by hour, through patience, honesty, humility. 52. Not to know what the world is to be arrogant of where you are. Not to know why it's here is to be arrogant of who you are and what it is. Not to know any of this is to be ignorant of why you're here. And what are we to make of anyone who cares about the applause of such people, who don't know where or who they are? 53. You want praise from people who kick themselves every 15 minutes? The approval of people who despise themselves? Is it a sign of self-respect to regret nearly everything you do? 54. To join ourselves not just to the air surrounding us, through breath, but to the reason that embraces all things, through thought. Reason is just as omnipresent, just as widely diffused in those who accept it as air is in those who breathe. 55. The existence of evil does not harm the world, and an individual act of evil does not harm the victim. Only one person is harmed by it, and he can stop being harmed as soon as he decides to. 56. Other people's wills are as independent of mine as their breath and bodies. We may exist for the sake of one another, but our will rules its own domain. Otherwise, the harm they do would cause harm to me, which is not what God intended, for my happiness to rest with someone else. 57. We speak of the sun's light as pouring down on us, as pouring over us in all directions. Yet it's never poured out, because it doesn't really pour. It extends. Its beams, acti, get their name from their extension. Ectanestai. Ectanestai. To see the nature of a sunbeam, look at light as it falls through a narrow opening into a dark room. It extends in a straight line, striking any solid object that stands in its way, and blocks the space beyond it. There it remains, not vanishing or falling away. That's what the outpouring, the diffusion of thought should be like. Not emptied out, but extended, and not striking at obstacles with fury and violence, or falling away before them, but holding its ground and illuminating what receives it. What doesn't transmit light creates its own darkness. 58. Fear of death is fear of what we may experience. Nothing at all, or something quite new. But if we experience nothing, we can experience nothing bad. And if our experience changes, then our existence will change with it. Change, but not cease. 59. People exist for one another. You can instruct or endure them. 60. An arrow has one motion, and the mind another. Even when pausing, even when weighing conclusions, the mind is moving forward toward its goal. 61. To enter others' minds and let them enter yours. And that is the end of Book 8. So we went through a whole book and a half there. Very good. Very, very good. We're making good progress. Well, with that, I think that's a good point to end the stream. I think we've been going for just a little over 3 hours now. Yeah, just about. So thank you so much to everybody that tuned in. I really, really appreciate it. I will be streaming tomorrow as well. We are getting back into this routine. We're going to get back to posting on all the socials, all my channels and stuff, and all that good stuff. It's not going to be every day because I want to focus on quality over quantity, but I'm going to try and think of some new content to put out, probably starting with Hercules. So, with that being said, I will see you all tomorrow, and I'm going to try and get on for 9 a.m. That's the goal. 9 or 10. So until then, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care, everyone.